Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk a bit about the work that I'm doing. I am working with children who suffer from a condition called xeroderma pigmentosum. Xeroderma pigmentosum, in short, I would say it is being allergic to the sun. A person who suffers from xeroderma pigmentosum cannot get exposed into the sunlight. The moment they get exposed into the sun, and once their skin is hit by that UV light, the ultraviolet light, their DNA is damaged and it cannot be repaired. So xeroderma pigmentosum patients, they are allergic to the sun, and this condition is not contagious at all. It is inherited, it is genetic. You may not be diagnosed of the condition until later in life, but you would have been born with it. You are born with the condition, you see. So people who suffer from XP, they are not to be exposed into the sunlight or any ultraviolet light. It will just damage their skin, because the moment they get into the sun, they get blisters and their skin is damaged, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. So people with XP, their lifestyle is totally different from ours. They have to be active in the evening, and during the day they have to be indoors, because they cannot be exposed into the sun. Even the sun that penetrates through the windows can affect them. So they are living difficult lives. And the sad part is that a lot of people do not know about this condition, and most families who've got children with this condition, they associate it with witchcraft. So by the time they seek medical assistance, it will be too late. Because firstly, what they do is they first point fingers at each other. They blame them, the mother of the child. They blame the in-laws. They blame everybody, the neighbors, for bewitching their children. And the next move is they seek for traditional doctors, the witch doctors. And from the witch doctors, they are told all sorts of stories concerning the condition. And from there, they go to the prophets, and they are also told different stories pertaining the condition. And by the time they seek medical assistance, it will be too late. So these children are dying, and what is killing them is not the condition itself, but late diagnosis. You see, it is really sad, because as an organization at the moment, we have 81 children that we have identified. And of the 81 people with XP we have identified, 7 have passed on. Right. We haven't done the statistics around Zimbabwe to see how many people we have who suffer from this condition, and we are actually in the process of doing that. So, we need help from the community, we need help from the ministry, we need help from everybody in identifying these, mostly it's children who suffer from this condition. And yes, amongst the 81 that I've mentioned, we have about 7 adults as well. Those were from the ages of 18 and above, because the youngest we have is a 2-year-old, The eldest we have is a 26-year-old. So we really don't know the statistics, and we want to do the statistics so that we get to help these families and these patients before it's too late. At the moment, the condition has no cure at all, but it can be managed just like we manage BP, just like we manage diabetes, because their worst enemy is just the ultraviolet light. So the moment we identify them and we teach them and they avoid all these UV lights, they can live just like you and me. Because what's funny is their only enemy is the sun. Their only enemy is the ultraviolet light. And it's really sad. And if you can go through my page, or you can also go through the organization's page, it's called Xeroderma pigmentosum Zimbabwe. You can see some of the kids that are their condition. It's really sad. Imagine living with a child with a half face. Imagine living with a child who does not have a face, who does not have a head. You see, the head has been eaten, and every day you've got your child and the disease is just chowing into the skin. It's really sad. So we are calling upon the nation to help us identify these children. And please do not be afraid, because this condition is not contagious. And some of the symptoms that can help you identify these children is that they get freckles all over their bodies. The freckles, they get the freckles all over their bodies. And they are also photosensitive. Once they get exposed into the sun, they cannot open their eyes. They'll be trying to block the light. You can also see by the dry skin. It's more like it has dandruff on it. It's so dry, and they have blood-like vessels that you can see under the skin. So if you just see any child with such symptoms, you can just get hold of us, communicate with us through our page, Xeroderma pigmentosum Zimbabwe on Facebook, or Twitter, Xeroderma Zimba1, or you can just go on my page and go in my inbox and communicate with me. We really need to help these children. They are suffering and silent. They are called names. The stigma is just too much. Some of them cannot even go to school. They are avoiding school. They cannot be seen in public in their communities. Excuse me. So parents end up hiding these children in the house, and they die a terrible death because they cannot be assisted. Everyone who sees them either will be calling them names, or blaming the mothers, or blaming the parents for trying to bewitch their child. It is really sad. And the condition itself has actually broken so many families. Of the 81 children we have identified, imagine they are being raised by single parents, being the moms. The moms are being left with the responsibility because the fathers are going away. They are leaving all that responsibility to the mothers. And the sad part is that some of the mothers are left with about 2 XP patients, plus the other children they would have had. So it's really a sad situation, and we're calling upon the nation to come together to help us identify these children. Thank you very much.